how do you keep chaotic players on track without shutting them completely down as a dungeon master? I have a feeling that if I have a group of completely chaotic players, I would probably see if there's a way for me to lean into that and use that to the game's advantage. In other words, I probably would not want to run an adventure module for chaotic players, right? I would probably want to run more of a, so I guess what I'm trying to tell you is instead of trying to keep them on track without shutting them down, I would see how you can adapt to their play style so that you don't have to fight them all the time. Because dude, you don't want to have to fight them every single day, every time you play. It gets old, man. So I would see, is there a way that I can run a game for them that embraces their chaotic nature, but is still fun for me, right? Like it has to be fun for me too, because I'm the game master. I want to have fun too, right? Is there a way I could do that? And I'm thinking if I have completely chaotic players, probably what I'm gonna do, by the way, for some time now, I've been building a new tabletop RPG system called No Quarter, and I wanted to let you all know a little bit about it. For a while now, I've had the hankering to play a game that is skill-based instead of class-based, like the vast majority of fantasy RPGs that are out there. So that's the first defining characteristic of No Quarter. Character creation is very open, allowing you to build whatever you want. A magic flinging warrior who's adept at swordplay, a healer with a penchant for melting from the shadows to stab the bad guys in the back. Anything is on the table. It all just depends on the skills you pick. I'm also a bit tired of the D20 system. Everyone's doing it these days, so I wanted to do something different. Thus, No Quarter is a D100 roll under system. My cat's just knocking things over. Similar to Call of Cthulhu, I've always really liked the elegance of that system. Now, you've probably heard me rant ad nauseum about how slow combat is in D&D. So we have gone to great lengths to ensure combat is quick and decisive. If a combat in No Quarter ever feels like that familiar slog of who can whittle down hit points the fastest, well, I failed. We also came up with a new Cornered Rats initiative system that I think you're really going to like. It makes every turn feel frantic and unpredictable, just like real combat. Now, we're going to be rolling out the alpha of No Quarter in January 2026 to all DM Lair patrons. And patrons will also get a monthly issue of No Quarter magazine, which will include adventures and monsters. So you literally get everything you need to play the game. Not the cat, though. The cat stays here to bug me every time I'm trying to film something. I will drop a link to the DM Lair Patreon page down below. However, please be aware that the tiers haven't been updated for No Quarter quite yet. They're still going to show current patron rewards. I'm planning to update everything in December, but if you want to become a patron right now, I suggest you join at the Lair Magazine 5th edition tier. If I have completely chaotic players, probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to run something more akin to a West Marches, where you might have a static group, but they get to decide what they're going to do, right? And then they can put their heads together and be like, oh, this would be sweet. Well, let's go do this, right? And then they tell me, right? And then while between game sessions, I prepare that thing. And then in the next game session, we do that thing that they want to do, right? And I feel like part of their chaotic nature is that they just want to do all this really crazy cool stuff that is in their minds, right? And that might be off the wall, right? So let them do it, but by allowing them to decide what they're going to do and telling you in advance, you get to prepare for it and you know what's coming. And then you can be ready for it, as opposed to as opposed to always having to react to their chaotic nature. You can embrace it and plan for it. And because you're literally asking them to tell you what they want to do, and then they tell you, you have their buy-in. They have agreed to do it. And then they're probably excited about that thing. So when in the next game session you have that adventure for them, they're more than likely gonna go do it, as opposed to going off and doing some random thing. So I would probably try to do something more like that if I have really chaotic players, Now if you just have like one of them, that's a different story. But if generally as a group, they just love doing crazy stuff, that could be something really fun, you know, a really cool way to run the game. So I would probably, because otherwise, what are you doing? You're constantly trying to rein them in. You're constantly trying to keep them on track. You're constantly fighting against their what they want to do. And I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight against my players all the time. I hate fighting against my players. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And constantly having to be like, well, that gets old after a while. I would rather change my game in a way that I can still have fun so that I don't have to fight them all the time, because that's going to get old very fast. Yeah, Brittany says I play in a crazy chaotic group and it's amazing. Yeah, it can be tons of fun. Tons of fun. I tend to be a chaotic player. When I am a player, which is not very often, when I am a player, I tend to do really stupid stuff, and I die a lot. My characters die a lot. If I survive 1 or 2 game sessions, that's really good, because I'm super chaotic and I get in trouble. I do bad stuff.